welcome everyone. Arthur Bablis here, and I'm excited. It is Monday. It is the 3rd of July. Where has the year gone? We're halfway through the year, and we're in the beginning of the new financial year, right? Some people say, hey, it's the Happy New Year, financial year. It's time to set some goals, time to set some business goals. But we're here. It is Monday. It is Arthur Bablis, and we were the MBX Insights, right? The MBX Institute, but we have evolved. We've evolved to the Conscious Mastery Academy. We're coming to you. A lot's happened to us, over, obviously, and to all of you guys over the last 12 months, 24 months, 3 years. But, you know, I've been in this field for now 3 decades, 27 years in this field of complementary medicine, personal growth, human performance. And I can tell you right now, I'm more excited about being in this industry today than when I was when I first started. You know, the people that I'm meeting, the people that I'm connecting with really is exciting me for the potential for all of you of what's possible when we get out there and we start to share our magic, share our light, share our brilliance. And so today we have a very special guest. I'm really excited to have a chat with this gentleman. Look, I've known this gentleman for a while online. We sort of get connected online. We've never really chatted, but probably stalked him. I watched him from behind the scenes, saw him doing all this wonderful stuff with his business. He shared a lot about his personal story, which is, it's great. It's great when people share their story in terms of where they've come from, where they are today, because it inspires you to realize that anything's possible. You just need to make that commitment to yourself. And I had a great opportunity. I met this gentleman, this person 2 weeks ago. I was at a live event in Brisbane, and he was there, one of the attendees, and we got a chance to connect, and we instantly connected. And we said, mate, I need to get you on my show. Let's have a chat. You got a message. You're doing some wonderful stuff with a lot of therapists, coaches, and healers, people out there who've got a service or self-employed business owners who want to be able to get themselves out there and create a brand from themselves. He's actually the person that's going to help you to stand out. So I'm going to introduce this gentleman. He's got his own business on how to create your own authority, your own brand. Everyone, let's bring a huge welcome. Let's bring on down, let's call him Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre, how are you, my friend? The crowd's going well. Mate, welcome. Thank you so much for just giving us your time. I know time's valuable for everyone, right? And right now, you've got a group, you've got people that you serve, and you've got a coaching call on right now, and your business partner is serving them. And right after this call, you're going to need to get back on that call to serve your guys. But Dre, thank you so much for being in our house today on the call. It's great to have you here.
Arthur, thank you so much for having me. I am super excited. And yeah, I couldn't miss this. I've made a commitment and I could not miss this. So I appreciate you so much. And it was so cool to meet you a few weeks ago and get to know you. So I'm looking forward to this chat today, but also to get to know you on a deeper level.
And thanks. And look, likewise. And as I said, I've seen the work that you're doing online, and I mean, that's a huge world out there. It's a small industry, hey? All right? Especially with technology today, like where we were once 6 degrees of separation, the people that, the people that they know, you go 6 levels deep and you know the whole world, right? I think it's gone down to about 2.3 or 1.3 degrees of separation with technology, with what we have available today. And really, I think what sped that up of the world getting closer and reconnecting or making a huge connection was what the whole world went through over the last 3 years. It sort of forced us to look at different ways to stay connected and embrace new ways, new technologies. I think there's a lot of positives that come out of that. So yeah, look, I saw what you were doing online. You're doing some wonderful work. And as you said, it was great to bump into you 2 weeks ago at this conference. Had a quick chat. Obviously, learned a little bit about me on stage with the story I was talking about. But hey, it's like, also we got a mutual friend as well too with Alyssa James, and she can't stop raving about you. I thought, if Alyssa's raving about you, then I got to speak to this man and bring you in the house. So I'm excited to actually have a chat with you today, not only from a personal perspective, as you said, get to know each other a little bit more, but also what you do and how you've been able to rapidly build not only your coaching business, but a business to actually help other coaches, other therapists, other practitioners, other service providers to be able to create a brand and get themselves out there. Because, you know, today it's like it's red ocean out there, right? In the industry, they call it red ocean. That's why I got a blue screen. Blue ocean. Let's create blue ocean, right? So how do you stand out? How do you stand out being authentic, being genuine, being you in an ocean where everyone's attempting to do the same thing? And, you know, I think I'm sure you're going to share with us some tips later on. But before that, tell us the Dre story. I mean, tell us a little bit about you. You got that accent there, right? You got that bit of the English accent. And so tell us a story. I'm sure you got a colourful background, but more importantly, how did you get to doing what you're doing now? How did you get to, you know, being a coach and creating the Authority brand?
Arthur, I just want to say thank you for having me on today. And also, when I saw you a few weeks ago, you were one of my favourite speakers, and it was because you shared like your story, and you're really open, really vulnerable, and yeah, absolutely love that. So my story, Dr. Dre without the doctor. That's how I normally introduce myself. So originally from England, so please don't hold it against me. And I know that we've got the Ashes going on at the moment. I haven't been watching, but I saw that I think we're down 2-0, even though I am an Aussie citizen. So I've been in Australia 16 years this month, which is crazy, and that's flown by. And just want to ask, you know, that like the viewers, the listeners, if like anyone's been in love before, because I moved to Australia for love. So I met an Aussie girl
You
over
moved
in
for love.
yes, moved for love, like 16
What
years
we
ago.
do for love, hey. I love
Crazy,
it,
yeah.
mate. Mate, just before you go on, we got lots of listeners here. So we're streaming to 5 different platforms, LinkedIn, to YouTube, to my personal profile, to my business profile. So wherever you are watching, just let us know, guys. Just let us know where you're watching from. Send some love to myself and Dr. Dre without the doctor. And if you've got any questions, I'll relay them back to him because, you know, we had a chance to maybe answer some of your questions as we go along. So we got some people here from the Philippines. We got people from Melbourne. We got people from Sydney, of course, and just let us know whether you're watching on, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's YouTube or whatever, because that's going to help us also, you know, get this out to more people, and you know, people got to hear the doctor. All right, so tell us,
not a real doctor. Yeah.
All right, okay, all right, but Doctor of Love, right? Love
Yeah.
brought you here, so how'd that work
Yeah,
out for you?
so we're not together anymore, but we are still like really good friends. But what happened is that we spent a couple of years in England. So it was 2002, from 2006 to 2008. And then remember like the GFC before
Yeah,
COVID?
yeah.
Yeah. So at the time I was selling buy-to-let and commercial mortgages to property investors. She was a beauty therapist on a working holiday. I lost my job and she's like, Dre, I'm going back to Australia. Are you coming? And I was like, oh, babe, I love you, but you know, I'm not coming. She's like, what do you mean you're not coming? And I was like, have you ever seen that movie Crocodile Dundee? Yeah, very ignorant, but I thought Australia was like Crocodile Dundee. So I thought you had the Opera House, and then everywhere else was like red dirt. You know, the hats with the corkscrews. Everybody goes to school on kangaroos. I thought I was going to get eaten by sharks, bitten by snakes, kidnapped by drop bears. But I came over for a holiday. I thought I was going to die, seriously.
Well, you haven't seen the drop bears yet?
No, not yet. Came out for a holiday, went to the sunny coast, Gold Coast, and just fell in love. So to cut a long story short, my background's in recruitment, sales, and what happened with me was COVID. So I was in a corporate gig, absolutely loved it. I didn't get paid my redundancy, which I was very sort of bitter about, and the way that I was treated by people that I trusted. And then I made a decision, I'm never ever going to be put in that position or work for anybody else again. So I said, no matter what happens, highs or lows, I'm just going to continue this journey. And I've had some lows. So like as you know, or as everybody knows that's watching this, the journey that we are on is an emotional like roller coaster. So I think my lowest point was having $3 to go and buy food for the week. And like I'm sure everyone's heard of Aldi supermarket. going into Aldi with $3 and change, thinking, okay, what can I buy? And all I could afford was a 5-pack of noodles, which were about $1 or 90 cents, and then the loaf of white bread. And I basically ate that. And then it was at that point, I was thinking, I've only come this far. I haven't come this far to only come this far. And I thought about giving up. Lots of times I thought about giving up, but then I thought, if you give up, you can go and get like back into the corporate world and get paid like handsomely, like really well. But I was like, no, I want to make this work, and I want to be in control of my life. So started off as a career coach, and I got sick of it after about a year and a half, because I just wanted to kind of like help people prepare for interviews. But a lot of what I was doing was writing CVs and cover letters. And I had one client, a really nice guy, but he didn't speak English very well. And my job was basically just to write, cover letters and resumes. And then I said, okay, I'm jacking this in, I'm not doing this. And this is how authority branding came about. So I really enjoyed like the social media aspect and like helping people. So with recruitment, I guess this is where it ties in, is helping people sell themselves. And that's literally what I'm doing now.
So let me ask, Dre. So, I mean, I love the metaphor of the roller coaster, because that's what I've said. You know, it's like life is a roller coaster, right? But we've all been on roller coasters, right? We get on it and we're shit scared, thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then you go on the ups and downs, whatever the case is, and you're screaming your head off, and you come off and you say, let's go again.
I don't.
All right. And so it's obviously in the ups and the downs that we develop our character. It's in the ups and the downs. It's like, you know, money doesn't make a man, money reveals a man. Well, you know, so, or a woman or a other. Let's be politically correct. All right. So money reveals the person. All right. So money's itself is just a piece of paper. It doesn't have any intrinsic value. It's the value we give it. So money's an energy. All right. And so when we think about that, you know, to only have $3 in your pocket, but to still have the presence of mind, of heart, and of soul to be aligned with your vision to continue, that's special, because a lot of people do give up. How long ago was that?
Oh, that probably would have been about just over 2 years ago.
Okay. And look, thank you for sharing, because I want people to really understand that people think it takes so much time to change. It's going to take forever for me to get to my goals or to my dreams. We're talking about, in the space of 2 years, going from only having $3 in your pocket to creating a 6-figure business as a coach, helping other coaches to be able to create a brand for themselves.
I love that. I need to take you everywhere with me.
Oh, and look, you deserve it, right? Because I think, you know, you've got this great print behind you of Michael Jordan, and you know, it's like, well, person that never gave up. It's not how many shots that you made. It's how many shots that you're prepared to miss to get the ones that you made. And what I loved about him, and it's obviously, you know, it's a character. You're not going to have a print of Jordan if you don't connect to part of his character, right? And I think the character is this, because Michael Jordan was the type of person, everyone that's listening to this, he was the person people passed the ball to in the last couple of minutes when the game was on the line. He wasn't the one passing the ball. He was the one saying, give it to me. I'm prepared to take that shot to get us over the line. Whereas a lot of people aren't prepared to take that shot, he was prepared to take that shot. And they did research on his brain, right? They found like his brain, when he was under stress, because his statistics, it's interesting we're talking about his statistics, he had a high percentage of field shots in the last 5 to 10 minutes of the game than the rest of the game, where most players have a high percentage of field shots in the majority of the game as opposed to the last 10 minutes of the game. So he thrived on the challenge. And the part of his brain that fired up was a part of the brain actually help him to thrive, as opposed to when people fire off a fight or flight mechanism. So it's quite interesting, right? And so for you to have that behind that actually says a lot about you as a person, because you're clicking into that energy. And that's, I think, what you're saying. You know, you got to the point where 2 years ago, you're on your own rock bottom, but you didn't use it as an excuse like most people do. You use it as the reason, the fuel to get you where you are today. So today you got authority branding. So tell us about that.
Yes, so I just quickly want to say it's not like, because I know that there's quite a few coaches, you know, healers, consultants out there that are struggling at the moment, and it can be a very dark place when, let's say, if you haven't got clients for a few weeks, a few months, or even longer. So it's probably this where this ties in. It's about following a strategy and just being consistent and doing everything that you want is on the other side of fear. So what I see in some of my clients is that they've pretty much got everything laid out. It's just that there's fear. I think we had a conversation about identity and fear like a few weeks ago. And it's just doing
look, I love what you're saying there, because you're right. And as we said, it's for most people, it's a red ocean. It's a mindset thing. Like everyone's doing the same thing. And again, that's the mindset, as opposed to looking at it as an opportunity. People look at it, well, it's just saturated out there. It's just because we're in that industry. But I don't think there's enough of us out there to service the people on the planet. So it's a huge opportunity, right? There's not enough of us out there doing what we're doing to actually help people out there. And so, you know, when you're talking about people who are going through their dark night of the soul, they're not got any clients, are finding it challenging, right? I think and I'm going to ask you a question in terms of what was your point where things flipped for you. And this is what I've seen in the last 27 years in this field, right? People tend to look for things which are laid out for them. They look for the silver bullet, right? They look for the system. They look for the program. They look for especially in today's day and age, you know, the opportunity or the funnel or the coach that's going to say, I'm going to get you to 6 figures, just follow this system. And they get the systems, and systems work, right? But systems work because people work the systems. The only reason systems work is because people work the systems. And so how many people have got a system that's working, but the same system is not working for other people? So is it the system or is it the person? So for me, the only reason... And I'm in the same boat. Like, geez, I was 27 years in this field, and I went through my dark night of the soul like 5-6 years ago, when just before COVID, my parents passed away, my 25-year marriage fell apart. It's like I feel like a huge imposter doing what I'm doing here. And like, how can I be the communication guy doing what I'm doing, training thousands of people over the years, and how are they going to look at me saying, well, look at your stuff? It's like, you know, going to that medical doctor who's overweight and smoking and telling you to eat healthy and stop smoking. So we all go through that. But what I realized is I stopped doing the work on myself. We constantly need to heal. We constantly need to look back and maybe reframe the things that happened to us so we can actually become better people today. It's the healing that people stop. They go to a weekend workshop and they think they've healed. Now I've arrived. Now I can earn 6 figures. I know this work. I don't need to do it anymore. I know about mindset. I don't need to learn more about mindset. Well, just if that's what you're thinking, go back and learn it again. So I think for you to get to where you got to, you went through a process of healing yourself. Yeah. You went through a process of shifting your thinking, healing your heart. Tell me a bit about that. What happened for you, my friend?
You've just reminded me and made me think. So when I first went to, like Tony Robbins, like UPW, came back so motivated, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to hire a business coach because I want to start my own business. Didn't really know what I was doing, and then I met this lady called Pushpa, who's like a great friend. And when we started working together, I was just like, just give me the strategy. All I want is the strategy. I just want to know the steps of what to do. And she was like, no, Dre, we're gonna look at your personal life. I was like, I don't want to look at my personal life. That's not what I want. And it's taken me, so that would have been towards the end of 2018. And from, say, a couple of years ago up until, I'm going to say last year, I didn't realize how much your personal life what's going on and the relationships that you have with people plays a big part. So I guess my healing was things that happened to me, and then just working through that and finding ways to work through that, and doing lots of like saw a therapist and and everything like that. So it's crazy, because if you're happy, then everything else just seems to fall into place. But I didn't
what comes
realize
first, right? That's the age-old question. Does happiness come before success, or success before happiness? I mean, there's a 75-year-old TED Talk study on that in positive psychology. And so you did the healing, you did what you need to do for yourself so you can evolve as a better person, be more aligned with your vision, with what you wanted to create. And as soon as that changed, your energy changed, your frequency changed, and started to pull to you the opportunities, the people, the network for you to get to where you are today.
Yeah, I just was really enjoying what I was doing, because I'm quite a creative person. Most people think I'm an extrovert, but I love to spend time in my little cave by myself, just creating things. So that's why I love the branding side of what I do, even though I do a lot less of it than I'd like to.
Yeah. Okay, so you create authority branding, takes to help other introverts or extroverts to get yourself out there, right? So tell us, for anyone who's watching that may be a therapist, a coach, a healer, some sort of practitioner, or got some sort of service, and they're finding it hard for them to get themselves out there today or get themselves known. What are the things they need to focus on? Because obviously consistency is a key, right? Because I know, I look back over the last 25 years and I make fun of it. I'm a binge builder, right? Like I'm a binge marketer, I'm a binge builder. You create something, you get your 6-figure type of workshop, and then you go on holidays. But again, no systems in place to keep things going. And also with technology today, we got a whole different type of system. But what are the things that people need to focus on in order to get themselves out there once they've done their inner work and they're ready to express themselves?
Yes, I think one of the biggest things is, if you want to be different, be yourself, because by being yourself, you will be different. That was a big lesson for me, and that's what I teach my clients. So that would be number one. Number two would be how you show up online. So like say your Facebook profile, your LinkedIn profile, it matters, because people make judgment decisions within the space of a few seconds. So there was a stat, I'll share the stat with you. So 50% of your leads will never buy from you. So I want you to imagine you've got 100 leads, 50%, boom, gone straight away. That means that you're left with 50. Out of those 50, then 15%, so 1/5, will buy from you within the first 3 months. So if we round that up, that will be 8. So 8 will buy from you within the first 3 months. The other 42 is going to take 12 months or longer to be able to, for them to buy from you. So if you lose a lead or whatever that might be, just move on to the next one. So what we do, like, in a way, yes, it is a numbers game, but it's also a game of trust, because people buy from people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah, and look, in what you're saying too, and it's another thing that sort of happens a lot in the industry. It's like, I suppose we're talking in terms of numbers. Like any organization, say, okay, well, I'm going to do some sort of marketing, do some sort of promotion. I'm going to get some people to reach out to some people. I've got someone to serve, and I'm going to collect some names, collect some details, collect some, let's say, leads, potential prospects or potential hearts I can heal, potential minds I can expand, potential lives I can save. I mean, that's probably a better way of looking at it than a lead. That's what we say. How many lives are we going to touch today, as opposed to how many leads you want to create today, right? So a lot of people, they'll spend a lot of time, a lot of money in the industry, a lot of energy into putting systems in place to get the contacts, get the leads, right? But they haven't worked on creating an identity for themselves, a brand, so people can build that trust. And that's where you come in, right? So you're making sure that you've set yourself up in a way that if you are investing in these systems, in these processes to be able to generate people to come to you, why would they stay with you is the question.
So a big part of it is just having conversations. So with the content that you put out, or that people or coaches put out, that will lead into conversations, and it's just having genuine conversations that you're there to serve. And I'm probably sure that you've received maybe a lot of cold DMs, and that approach, yeah, I don't like. So if you're just a good person, genuine, then your vibe is going to attract your tribe. And people can see that and they can feel that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, everyone's trying different things. I wouldn't say anyone trying, or when you use the word trying, they don't get really anywhere, right? But they attempt with technology, with the industry changing, different opportunities come up, and everyone's looking for a way to be able to make a difference. But some of the things that we do can take away from that identity as well too, which is what you're saying there with all the cold DM stuff or whatever the case. How do you build a relationship with people? I mean, a lot of people using social media, for example, Facebook. It's called Facebook. They want to see your face. It's not business book or non-Facebook, right? And it's social media to be social, to build a relationship, as opposed to using it for business. So a lot of people are using it as a marketing tool because that's where everyone is today. So what are some of the things that if you were to, or that you tell your clients, if you're going to use that medium to build a brand, what do you need to be aware of? You mentioned, okay, be yourself. Number one, you got to be authentic. You got to be uniquely you, right? Which means don't compare yourself to anyone else. When as soon as you start comparing yourself, you get into I'm not good enough and imposter syndrome. There's more work you got to do there, right? So what else? Be yourself. Have genuine conversations.
You've got to be in it for the long game. So yes, you can make a lot of money in a short space of time, but you're in it for the long game.
That's an important one too. Because so many people, and this is what I've seen from my experience, because it's a deregulated industry now, this coaching field, this therapy field, right? And so anyone and everyone can call themselves a coach, which is great because everyone's got a story to share to help other people. But I think there's a difference between being a coach and being a therapist, all right? And a lot of coaches today want to do work with people to help shift stuff and heal their traumas. Well, mate, that's therapy. And if you don't understand the guidelines and criteria and that you've got a duty of care as a therapist with a client, I know the 27 years I've been in this industry, right? We've seen people who say things that I'm not saying that we can't say them, but if we do say them, it leaves us exposed. And people say certain things and do certain things just in order for them to be seen. And this is actually, I want to ask you this question today, because in the industry where we got technology and social media, they say that visibility is king. That's the word they use in the industry, right? Visibility is king, all right? But just because you're seen the most and you're most visible doesn't make you the best, right?
Nailed it. Yes, it doesn't. So, because what you'll find is that the people that are the best marketers and salespeople are not genuinely like the best like coaches or therapists. So if you can market yourself, sell yourself, then you've got the best chance of getting a client. But however, you need to deliver on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's the thing. A lot of people think just because they've got more likes or they've got more followers that they're better coaches or better therapists. That's like saying Coca-Cola is better than Pepsi. There's a study, right? Like a blind trial between the two drinks. I'm not saying they should drink any of those. This is just I'm talking about marketing, right? Between Coke and Pepsi, Pepsi across the world is actually a better tasting drink.
Really?
Right? A marketing study, it's a better tasting drink, but Coca-Cola has more marketing. So just because we're the biggest and best doesn't make us the best drink, not the healthiest drink, right? So just because you're the biggest and best doesn't make you the... So what can you do? What should we be focusing on?
So say that again. What should we be focusing on for?
So yes, we've got to get ourselves out there, but what are some of the tips in terms of getting ourselves out there that can help us to make that connection with people, to come across in a genuine way, to come across in an authentic way where you say, hey, I'm here to serve you, I'm here to support you, I'm here to actually help make a difference in your life with what it is that we have here. So what's a way that we can let people know to be able to do that?
Great question. So the quickest way to grow your authority, to grow your brand, is to speak, to get yourself out there, people seeing you speak. So whether you do masterclasses, events, summits, podcasts, such as this, and you're coming on my podcast on Thursday.
Awesome.
So
Love it. Yeah.
pay for that, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then, because that's the quickest way for people to be able to know you, to like you, and to trust you. So I would get as many speaking engagements as possible, and that will help. To back off from that, so number two would be publication, so like content. So whether that's ebooks, checklists, websites, landing pages, as much content as possible, but it has to be good quality, high content that's serving and giving value.
Well, so here's a question now, right? Because I agree with you there, and I'm sure your clients probably say this, and I hear people are coming in this field say this. Look, yes, I want to get my message out there, or I want to speak, but what do I talk about? Who's going to want to listen to my story?
Love that. So everybody's story is unique, and if you don't, so to be heard, you need to be seen. And there's going to be so many people out there that are going to resonate with your story. So I used to think like that. I was like, oh, I don't have a story, you know, I'm like pretty average, like for most of my life. Like, who's going to want to listen to me? But there's billions, or almost 8 billion people, or over 8 billion people in the world. So yeah, there's people out there that will listen. So they just need to find you, and they need to know that you exist.
And that's the reason why we need to get ourselves out there. Like, you know, we're doing everyone a disservice. If you've got a story to tell, if you've got something you can share with someone to actually make their life a little bit better because of your existence, and that we've got a responsibility to get ourselves out there, right? Yeah, I love what you just said there, Dre. So what did you do? What's the one thing that you did? If there's one thing, if you look back and say, hey, this was a moment, this was a thing, this is the decision I made, this is what got me off the canvas, right? What's that thing? Was it a thing? Is it a moment? Is it a decision? Is it a feeling? What was it? Like, how did you get to internally to the point where you say, you know what? That's it. I'm drawing a line. This is a demarcation point. I want to make this moment a signature moment, a signature minute, a signature moment, a signature month, a signature year, a signature moment in my life for me to make change. So how did you get there?
Great question. I just had enough. I just simply had enough of. So
enough of what? Enough of what?
Of going to the supermarket with like no money, having to buy shopping, and then seeing things on like Facebook, people in like nice restaurants eating steak, and I was like, oh, okay, I've just got this bread or this noodles, and it was pain. I just didn't want to. It was just becoming too painful, and it got to a place where I seriously thought for a couple of seconds, you know, am I better off not being here?
Yeah.
And then a couple of seconds later, I thought of my mum, thought of my dad, and I think what really sort of kept me around was my little brother. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I just need to keep going and figure it out. And a big part of it is just being consistent with your actions, but you actually need to take action. And once you do, action leads to clarity.
So what are the tips that you got for consistency? Because people, you know, it's like, we got the ideas, I want to do it, but do you want to do it, or do you want the wanting of doing it? All right. So
you want it, yeah. Tips for consistency. So yeah, definitely need to be focused. You need to be disciplined, and think about the bigger picture and what the payoff is going to be. So
because you're right, you know, getting yourself out there, speaking and sharing, it's probably, for me, I think it's one of the great areas in order for you to grow as an individual. I think that's the greatest personal development arena, getting yourself out there, because you learn more about yourself as you do that, right? It's life school. We got school, academic school. That's the first part of our life, but now this is life school, right? And people say all this stuff should be taught in schools. Not necessarily, because it's taught in life. This is life school, right?
yeah.
And so you need to go through life school. And so what you said, what keeps you going, being consistent in life school, is focusing on, well, the purpose or the reason, that thing, that spark. So for you, what's that? What's the thing that keeps you going, Dre? And why is it important to you?
That is a great question. I used to ponder that all the time. So for me, I'm gonna tie it back to Michael Jordan.
Yep.
So know that in me, there's a would have come from my childhood of not being good enough. So I'm very competitive in nature, even though sometimes it might not look like that. So I just want to leave. It sounds a bit cheesy. I just want to leave the world in a better place and just make just a little dent. So the purpose of my life is to just inspire people with the actions that I do. So because I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I'm glad that you brought this up, because I've been thinking, how do I get like my clients like quicker results, and how do I get them to take that action? And you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink it, but you can make them thirsty, so they're going to need to.
So what you're saying is you feed them salt. You lead a horse to water, can't make them drink, but you can feed them salt, right? But that's I love what you said. It's because you can be led to the Holy Grail. You're led there, but unless you're thirsty, you're not going to drink from the cup, right? So that thirst is an internal thirst. It's something comes from inside. It's something that is activated inside you, that you can be better, and that you're destined to be better. You're born to be more. You're born to be great. You're born to be express the magic that you have. And yet a lot of us, as we grow, we get that suppressed in us, right? And we believe that we can't. So I think you've got a great way of helping people to believe in themselves, to be able to do that, because why would they do that if they didn't believe themselves? I think I've always said, like, as a person in this field, as a coach, you've got to believe in your clients more than what they probably believe in themselves. All right. And you've got to see them as an ultimate being of light that they're worth working with. And you can only see someone as an ultimate being of light if you can't see that within yourself. If you can't see the light within yourself, you can't see it in other people. So it starts with.
I love the way you sum that up. Yeah.
So it's a reflection of the work that you've done. And again, I want to commend you, because for you to get to from where you were to where you are now, you've done the work. You repeated the work. You were consistent. You showed up. And I want to ask you this, because you said, what was your turning point? And you said pain. Right? Because a lot of people say it's fear that's holding you back. Fear's an illusion. There's only two natural fears. We know that. In life, there's only two natural fears. Fear of falling, fear of loud noises. Everything else is a man-made fear. All right? So fear of what? You know what people fear? Fear pain. They fear pain. It's how they perceive pain, because again, it's down to perception, right? So the pain that you went through was the turning point for you. So the way I'm sure we can help people is get them to understand the pain if they don't act.
Yeah. I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. So yeah.
Dre, look, I want to thank you for being here. We've gone 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm sure we can talk longer, but you've got people waiting for you on the other side, another call, right? But tell me, look, if people want to reach out and get to communicate with you, what's the best way? What do you got for them? If they want to find out more about Authority Branding, how do they do that?
Just jump on my Facebook profile, personal profile, and then just send us a message. So Arthur, I appreciate you so much. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to Thursday.
Sure. I'll get the girls to put your profile in there so people can connect with you, because, hey, I love what you said. We get people coming on and say, look, I've got this, I've got that, I've got that. You know what you're doing? Just connect with him. We're going to have a conversation. Let's get to know each other, and we're going to see how we can serve you. So, guys, if you're watching, we've got people in their car. Who's watching? We've got Josephine Kinsella's on here. We've got Mary's on here. So we've got people watching from all over the place. If you want to reach out and connect with Dr. Dre without the doctor, or Dre. Look, if anything in his story that you connected with, because, and why is it important to share your story? Because what we think is most personal is actually most general to other people. We don't share our stories because we think it's personal to us, but by sharing it with other people, it'll actually help them overcome their challenges. And perhaps, if there's one life that can change just because we've had this conversation today, Dre, then it's been worth it, because that's what it's about. It's the ripple effect that can be created from the energies that come together. So, guys, reach out to Dre. I want to thank everyone for watching. All the links are in there now. I can see them there. I want to thank everyone for being here, guys. I want to thank Dre for being here as well, too. We'll just say CF to the Facebook. Just hold on for a second, Dre. But see you later to all the social media land, wherever you're watching. Thank you so much. You can catch this on the replay. Let us know if you're catching on the replay. And if you've got any questions, just put them in wherever you're watching this, because we'll look at these and we'll get to Dre and we can let him know of any questions that you may have. But from now, from me, thank you guys. Signing off, and we'll see you guys